In today's lecture, that is lecture 4, we are going to talk about the market research techniques for export. Let us begin the journey. Let us see an overview of the contents which we are going to discuss in today's lecture. We will be first focusing on brief introduction, followed by objectives and importance. After that, we will talk about the market research process, followed by research methods. After that, we will talk about the key information sources, followed by market analysis tools. After that, we will be talking about screening and evaluation, followed by trade fairs and digital tools. We have been highlighting export promotion councils. We will also try to understand the role of export promotion councils in marketing research as well as challenges and best practices. Finally, we'll conclude our discussion and lecture. The first and fundamental questions which comes up in this lecture is why market search matters. An exporter is already exporting goods in some markets. Is it required for that exporter to search new markets? Or a potential exporter who has not yet exported but is selling goods and services in the domestic markets, is it important for that particular businessman to explore new markets? And if so, what is the manner in which market search should happen? The whole crux of this lecture is the answer to these two fundamental questions. The answer lies that export market search is the process of identifying and evaluating foreign markets for goods and services. Remember, here we have highlighted 2 points: identifying and evaluating. It is not just identification of the market, but also evaluating whether markets can be efficient or not. Similarly, market search helps firms, businesses minimize risks and improve export performance. Not only this, effective market research supports strategic decision making and market entry. Market research matters because continuous research is crucial due to evolving global demand and competition. Let us now focus on the objectives of market research. Market research identifies profitable and high potential foreign markets. We all know that foreign markets that are potentially sound and effective, they are the best markets for exporter to sell their products at more profit margin. The second is understanding consumer demand, preferences and buying behavior. If exporters do not understand the consumer preferences and buying behavior, they cannot present their product or place their product rightly towards the customers. The customers not only sees the product but how it is being presented. That also matters. Thus, market research offers solution to this problem. The third is market research provides access to market size, competition, and regulatory condition. All the information related to market size, competition, and regulatory conditions are very important. They are important because if an exporter is not aware about the conditions which are prevailing in that economy, how the exporter will take decisions related to operations in those countries. Thus, market research has one of this objective to be fulfilled. And finally, it is support product adaptation, that is market research support product adaptation, pricing and distribution strategies. All these three things, product adaptation, pricing and distribution strategies, are also important when any exporter is going into new markets because that is the most important challenge. Let us now try to appreciate the importance of market research in export strategy. Market research in export strategy reduces the risk of failure in unfamiliar markets. That is, the markets that has not been explored yet, where the exporter has not reached, the risk of failure is minimized. Similarly, market research in export strategy improves allocation of resources and marketing efforts. Not only this, market research in export strategy helps develop tailored strategies for different market segments. We all know that market segmentation is an important criteria for businesses. However, how to do the segmentation in a foreign country is very important, and decisiveness and better decision making is required to do that segmentation. Thus, market research is required to take evidence based decision in terms of market segmentation in the foreign countries. Here, market research comes into play. Market research in export strategy also strengthens competitive positioning of any exporter and country in the global trade. Let us now discuss what are the steps in export market research. The first step is to define objectives and scope of market research. Means what is the objective of market research? And what is the scope? Means is it valid to one country or we are trying to understand the behavior in a particular regional zone? The second step is to identify the potential markets through preliminary screening. That is, we can try to see the consumer demand in different markets and then we can select few markets. Suppose, for example, a company is interested in exporting organic food items or organic raw materials. If but the important thing is that which markets accepts organic food or consumers of which countries can afford these organics. Therefore, the potential markets identification is an important step and it is done through preliminary screening. The third step is to conduct detailed analysis of shortlisted markets. Suppose on the preliminary screening, we have selected around four countries. Now, our objective is to go to new markets, but that should be only one country. We want to start with one country. So these shortlisted countries or markets, we can call them, their detailed analysis should happen so as to finally decide and select one or two countries. The final fourth step is to evaluate market entry options for the country which has been selected. Suppose during the shortlisting of the market, with the help of market research, we have selected country A. Then now the final step is to evaluate how to enter country A through which strategy that should be finalized. All these steps are the steps which are used in export market research. There is another classification that is primary market research. Primary market research uses the primary data. Primary data is the first hand data that is directly collected from the market or from the consumers. This particular method is very popular and it has also become now easy with the use of people using technology and data can be collected very easily. This method includes surveys, interviews, trade visits, and focus group. Let us discuss each one of them. Surveys, we try to give a questionnaire to a consumer or the stakeholders that are related to exports and we try to get their insights. Interviews is We take some oral questions towards the customers and the stakeholders and get their responses. Trade visitors, we visit different trade uh, fairs and all, or certain companies, we try to interact and get data from those interactions. And focus group is that we try to bring a group and ask them to discuss about a new product or about an existing product, and we then try to observe that particular group talking about those ideas, and we try to generate data through those ideas. All these four methods are very popular methods and they are widely used for conducting the primary market research. Primary market research provides accurate, current, and specific insights about market conditions. However, the limitation being that primary market research is more costly and time intensive, but it is also very reliable, and that is why companies are still using primary market research to take better decisions. The next classification is secondary market research. Secondary market research uses secondary data. This secondary data is the data which is already existing somewhere, which has been collected by some other organization or individuals for some other purpose. For example, data provided by World Trade Organization is secondary data. For example, all the data provided by International Monetary Fund is secondary data. For example, all the trade data provided by RBI or DIPP in India is secondary data. So, this particular method of research relies on existing data from reports, publications, and databases. Some popular databases we will talk about later, and these are the sources that include trade association, government agencies, and different online platforms. Secondary market research is also very important and interesting because it provides opportunity. The third important point in secondary market research is that it is cost effective and it is quick for initial market evaluation. It is cost effective because no cost or very less cost is spent in collecting data because the data has already been collected. Today, if I want to do any analysis on the trade data, I can easily go to WTO and I can download the data from WTO. This is free of cost. Thus, it is cost effective. So, the benefit in secondary market research is any type of data which is secondary is mostly free. Or if it is not free, if it is given by a certain organization, they will charge some nominal amount. But it is very cheap in comparison to the primary research, to the money which is spent in primary market research. Secondary market research is best used as a standing point before conducting primary research. Let us now move on to sources of market information. There are different sources that can be used to collect market information. Some are very popular. Let us talk about them. The first is WTO, World Trade Organization. World Trade Organization has a very deep insights about market information. Most of the products and its performance in the international trade is available. You can search the product through harmonized system code of a product. Not only just product across different sectors, it has accumulated data. Then another organization is international trade centers, and we can also have national trade bodies. For an example, in India, it has DIPP. RBI also provides some trade data, etc. Another way is that different export promotion councils and industry association. Like in India, we have FICCI, ASSOCHAM. All these also provide market information to their members, or even they publish certain data and certain market information in their reports. So, these export promotion councils and trade association can act very beneficial in giving market informations to the users. Other sources include market research reports, business directories, and online trade portals. Not only this, competitors' websites, trade journals that are part of research, and embassy trade offices are also important sources of market information. Let us now focus on qualitative market analysis techniques. The qualitative market analysis techniques are those techniques that uses data to determine decisions or to forecast about the markets. The quantitative market analysis techniques are the techniques that uses trade volume data, growth rates and demand forecasts. Quantitative market analysis techniques are widely used in trade economics and trade studies because they provide evidence based answers to different questions. They include trend analysis, they include forecasting, and with the help of these quantitative market analysis techniques, key decisions can be taken. Quantitative market analysis techniques uses trend and time series analysis which reveals market potential and direction. Not only this, there is possibility of comparative analysis which helps to prioritize markets based on size and performance. The quantitative market analysis techniques are data-driven insights that supports better strategic and evidence-based decisions for the exporters. On the other hand, we have another type of technique which is qualitative market analysis techniques. The qualitative market analysis techniques are those techniques that focuses on attributes instead of data that can be measured on ratio scale. We also have an example that qualitative market analysis techniques focuses on cultural, behavioral, and psychological factors influencing demand. These techniques includes and use expert opinions, case studies, and focus groups for deeper insights. These techniques understand brand perception, consumer expectation, and buying motives to further find answers about a question related to market. Qualitative market analysis techniques helps in product adaptation and communication strategy design, which are very important for exporters when they are entering new markets. Let us now try to focus on the market screening criteria. That is the criteria based on which we try to screen, we try to evaluate a market. We have mentioned four important points. The first is economic indicators. Whenever we try to identify whether a market is a potential market or not, then the first important thing is about the macroeconomic picturization of that market. That what about GDP growth rate of the market? GDP growth rate indicates that whether the economy is going up or down, whether it is growing or it is slowing down. It is always very important to enter new markets because of the growth in the economy. Similarly, another macroeconomic indicator is per capita income. Per capita income indicates that the consumers of the economy have good disposable income, thus indicating that if the companies enter into this new market, they can supply high priced commodities or premium commodities to the consumer. Similarly, growth rate and inflation are other macroeconomic factors and they are also very important and interesting. The second point is market size and demand trends for the product category. Market size is also very important because if it is a small market, entering a small market means less competition. However, if it is a big market, it means if we are enter big market, the competition will be more because more multinational corporations are expected to be participating in that. The third is potential stability, legal framework, and ease of doing business. These are the facilitating and institutional frameworks that promotes and make a market better. A particular company has reached to a market. It has started its operation, but whether the operations will be smooth because of the external environment of the economy or not is the question. If a economy is politically stable, if it has a good legal framework, and if there is ease of doing business, possibly the industry which has been set up, the company which has entered, will peacefully work its own course of action. Let us now focus on competitive environment assessment. The competitive environment assessment talks about analyzing the business environment in a market and understanding and appreciating the level of competition which prevails. Under this particular topic, this particular concept, it relates to identifying key competitors and their market share. Without understanding key competitors, the companies cannot devise their own strategies. In addition, competitive environment assessment also analyzes pricing strategies, distribution channels, and promotion tactics to be used. The competitive environment assessment studies strength and weaknesses of the existing players in that market. In addition, the competitive environment assessment determines potential for differentiation and competitive advantage. Let us now try to understand that what is the role of trade fairs and exhibition in terms of understanding markets. The different trade fairs and trade exhibitions provide direct access to buyers, distributors, and trade partners. These trade fairs and exhibitions are opportunities which offer real time feedback on product design, quality, and pricing. These trade fairs and exhibitions also help observe competitor offerings and market trends. These trade fairs are responsible for building networks and long term business relationships. Let us now move on to digital tools and online market search, which can be used today in contemporary times. They are the easily available modes for anyone to search for new markets. Generally, these type of searches includes the global business to business platforms, for example, Alibaba, Trade India, and global sources. Trade India is a very popular business to business platform in India. If you want to do any business in India and you want to become an exporter, you can go to Trade India and search for the products. What are the products that are available? And you will get all type of agencies that will assist you in exporting those products. You can take the quotation, the cost. This type of online market search and digital tools have become very popular now because of internet penetration, and these leverage online trade databases and export import statistics portals. There's so many export statistics portals that are applicable and available for the exporters to take benefit of. There is also an emerging use of social media analytics that can reveal trend, customer preferences, and feedback. As more and more number of people, consumers, are on social media, every second they are generating some data related to their preferences. Those large scale data, known as the big data, can be used for market analysis and understanding the consumer preferences. Similarly, the e-commerce data also offers insights into demand and pricing strategies. Let us now try to find out and appreciate the role of export promotion councils. These export promotion councils provide sector specific market intelligence and trade leads. Export promotion councils are further divided into different organizations that are product specific. For example, in India, a specific export promotion council is for gems and jewelries. So, this Export Promotion Council, which is specifically for gems and jewelries, this will provide market intelligence for specific sector relating to gems and jewelry. So, any exporter who is into gems and jewelry and want to expand its exports to new market can come in contact with these Export Promotion Council and then take benefit of market intelligence as well as trade leads. These export promotion councils assist exporters with regulatory information and documentation. Export promotion councils also facilitate participation in buyer seller meets and trade missions. Export promotion councils also support medium and small enterprises with training, funding, and advisory services. Dear students, let us now focus on the challenges which comes up during export market research. The first is lack of reliable and up-to-date market data. At times it happens that sector specific reliable data is not accessible. This creates problems in decision making. The second is language, cultural and legal barriers in foreign markets. These barriers sometimes fail the whole objective of market research because these barriers does not allow to understand the different documents and reports that are available in regional and vernacular languages. The third challenge is that because of limited financial and technical resources, small and medium enterprises specifically are not able to use the data, which is the paid data of trade statistics. And finally, the rapid changes in consumer behavior and market dynamics sometimes always makes the research reports obsolete, though the behavior has already changed. Let us now try to understand some of the best practices in export market research. The best practices combine primary and secondary research for comprehensive insights. These best practices focus initially on few high potential markets and then screen out the markets that are not relevant. These best practices include updating market research continuously to track changes and trends. In order to improve the effect of export market research, it is needful that collaboration should happen with trade bodies, embassies, and market research agencies. Dear students, let us now try to conclude what all we have discussed in today's lecture. Market research is a strategic necessity for export success. We have also highlighted that this particular market research minimizes risk, identifies opportunities, and improves decision making. Market search is a systematic approach that enhances competitiveness and global reach. And finally, the note taking is that continuous market intelligence ensures long term export growth and sustainability. Dear students, thank you very much for being with me in this lecture.